welcome everyone to Intro to Emotional Reflexology with me. I'm Kalinda Trifo. I reside in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. And it's an honor and a pleasure to have so many people from all over the globe being able to see kind of what emotional reflexology is about. I personally developed this modality because um, it was a real struggle for me to be able to live a life with anxiety and panic attacks. Thank goodness I figured it out and I beat it in 2012. And I I was able to link what I did in order to beat anxiety with reflexology, along with a whole bunch of extra training that I did. And I just smushed everything together into what I call emotional reflexology these days. So in this workshop, by the end, I hope to make sure that you understand what emotional reflexology is. So I want you to understand how the emotions connect to the physical reflex points for well-being. I want to be able to help you know how to detect emotional reflexes, exploring the methods to detect emotional reflexes and interpret their significance in physical and emotional health. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek at the charts, testimonials, and what certification in emotional reflexology looks like. So just to be crystal clear before we dive in, this is not a certification training. It took me a decade to figure out how to create emotional reflexology with 21 certifications. I teach emotional reflexology. It takes me a year to certify students. It is absolutely physically impossible for me to certify you as an emotional reflexology therapist today. So this is giving you insights into how it works and what it's doing, but you will not be certified in any way, shape, or form by the end of this training to be a certified emotional reflexology therapist. Just making that crystal clear. Emotional reflexology, it uses a combination of foot reflexology, muscle testing, perspective, strategic intervention coaching, powerful listening skills, wisdom from experience, and more to detect and release emotions tied to old memories. There just isn't a cookie cutter fix for everyone. There's 8 billion people on the planet. No two are the same. And so a lot of times when we teach reflexology modalities, there's a spot for this, there's a spot for this, there's a spot for this. Any parent with more than one child can confirm that when you have two children raised by the same parents in the same home, they can view things totally separate. They have different personalities, they process information different, they react different. That applies to 8 billion people, right? So having a customized session for each client is necessary because you don't know how people layer emotions. Our time together is short today and a lot to share with you, so let's dive in. What if the problem isn't physical? What if it's emotional? Have you ever pressed on a reflex, nailed the technique, and it still refuses to release? How many in here have had that experience? A lot of times when we are working with reflexology, we were working on the physical things. We're focused on the physical body. But there's a missing link to that. And the missing link is emotions. And it's something that most clients are searching for. So there are only 3 possible causes to any imbalance in the body that I'm aware of: stress, stress, or stress. Everyone agree? There are only 3 possible causes, but there's different versions of it. So there's physical stress, nutritional stress, emotional stress, or a combination. Now, remember when I went and I told you before that everybody reacts differently? It's the same thing. No two people react to physical stress the same. No two people react to nutritional stress the same. No two people react to emotional stress the same, or whatever combination that that it has been processed. So the challenge is really figuring it out. And most good reflexology therapists customize reflexology sessions to balance the client's body systems that are experiencing stress. The client determines what they consume to fuel the body. And the question is, who helps the clients with trapped emotions because they can't talk about what they don't remember? There isn't a therapist for that. So, emotional reflexology is a game changer. It helps to detect those emotions hidden in the subconscious memory and gently releases them so that they lose their power to weigh the client down. I really didn't need another certification or a project. This was, I created emotional reflexology because I know how hard I struggled before I beat anxiety naturally in 2012. The answer wasn't in a pill. It was in figuring out how to release a trauma trigger from a memory when I was 8 that created an underlying fear that tormented me until I figured it out. Once I was able to release the emotions tied to that very specific memory, I never had another anxiety or panic attack again. That's been since 2012. It's been well over a decade. And the crux of it is helping clients escape their story jail. It's about shifting perspective. It's about finding where those emotions are trapped in the body and how to help the clients let those stories go. So I do believe that developing emotional reflexology was my purpose. It will be my legacy, and that's why I'm sharing it with you today. So you don't have to talk through emotions. The body knows what it wants to let go of, and it's the body's nature to leave clues. So, has anybody ever had clients with carpal tunnel syndrome? Carpal tunnel syndrome, when it was actually Dwight Byers. I did an advanced training with Dwight Byers back in, I think, 2010. And it was really fascinating to watch him. He is the nephew of Eunice Ingham, who was the founder of reflexology in North America, right? But the carpal tunnel syndrome, when they were talking about it, the symptom is in the wrist, the cause is in the shoulder. And so a lot of times in reflexology, they would work the shoulder reflex. But sometimes it just wouldn't release. Sometimes it was just stuck. And I remember having some clients come, they had carpal tunnel, and a lot of it was feeling burdened by responsibility. So as soon as I released the emotional attachment to responsibility and responsibility stress, their shoulder relaxed and their hand felt better. Like it's amazing to be able to see how powerful emotions are, because when I was sick, nobody ever gave me the memo that emotion could cause physical pain. I honestly didn't have a clue. So, emotion can present as mystery pain. Have you ever heard of a client that is having a problem, having physical symptoms? They are going to the doctor constantly, and it is just, there are no answers. All the medical tests come back and say there's nothing wrong. Well, if you have pain that bad, there's something wrong. It just might not be something that doctors can find on medical technology because they don't know how to trace emotion yet. You know what I mean? So I spent decades trying to convince the medical community that something was terribly wrong because I was in excruciating pain. I never got the memo. Emotions can cause physical pain. And who wants to see what it looks like when a reflex lets go because emotion behind it finally did? Comment, I'm ready in the chat if you're ready to volunteer for today's demo.
Hi, yes, I do. Sorry, I'm on my phone, so I'd rather not be on the camera,
Okay, that's
if
fine.
that's okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
that's perfect. And so the reflex on your foot, what Which reflex is sore that will not let go?
It's like sort of it's on the probably about the mid hip um, area on the right foot along the spine reflex.
Okay.
So
Okay.
about midway,
Midway. Midway in the hip. Okay. And scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate that reflex right now?
8.
Oh, it's nasty. And it just holds at 8?
It does.
Okay. So this is one of the charts that I use in order to be able to detect that motion. So, can you tell me, Luella, um, just how old are you?
63.
Okay, perfect. And it's on the right side.
Right side.
Okay. Okay. And do you remember having grief at at age 47?
I don't know. Off
Okay.
the top of my head, no, I that
You
does
don't
not, yeah,
you
pop up. But there's been grief in the last, yeah, definitely.
okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, so the very first emotion that I'm going to release is grief. You don't have to remember the memory. I'm just looking for the emotion.
Okay.
And we don't need to hear the story. Like there is no story to it, even if you do remember it. You never have to tell the story. So
Perfect.
I am releasing the grief and I am replacing it with the ability to hold on to gratitude for the moment rather than holding on to the past, right?
Perfect.
So it's the difference between focusing on gratitude rather than loss is essentially what I'm changing. Now, I want you to go back and press on that hip reflex. Is it still an 8 or has it shifted?
It's shifted. It's definitely not as sharp.
Okay, so scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate it?
About 7.5, 7-ish. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's going down,
okay,
definitely.
just give me 1 second here. It's just because there's something else tied to it.
Oh, there's a big red spot where that pain is on my foot,
Okay,
and it's not letting up.
no. And so the next emotion that I detect from that is repressed anger. So it's like not being able to express um, anger in a healthy way, right? And that would have been from age 59. Do you remember being angry at age 59? That would have been what, 21-ish?
Oh,
That's like COVID
probably.
time.
Yeah, right? Who
Uh,
wasn't angry during that time?
yeah, exactly. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to release repressed anger. And more importantly, I'm releasing heartache because you cannot actually have anger if you don't have heartache first. So I am releasing heartache and the repressed anger, and I'm replacing it with unconditional love and gratitude. Okay, now go back and press on that hip reflex and scale of 1 to 10. Where's it at?
Oh my God, it's like a 5. I
There's
know
something.
and the redness is slowly dissipating.
Okay, just hold on. Okay, there's something else. Oh, okay. So this is willpower. So it's almost like you are determined to do something, right? But it is not um it is it's not um serving your highest good or your deepest joy, right? So I am going to release willpower that does not serve your highest good and deepest joy. And I am going to replace it with the ability to um, focus on things that are productive and that um, help support a healthy and happy lifestyle. Okay,
Perfect.
good. And now, where is it at?
I would say about a 3.
Good job. Okay, so now we're going to, um, there's just something else stuck in there. And I just want to find one more thing. It's moved down quite a bit from an
It
8 to a
has. And
3.
even the coloring has changed.
I know it's wild, isn't it? Who knew?
Beautiful.
It's interesting. Okay, so the last piece is anxiety. And so the anxiety is an old friend. And it's at age 17. So a lot of times, can you remember having anxiety when you were 17?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay. And so if you were to rate anxiety at 17, scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate it?
Oh, over the top. I
Over the
had just
top.
given birth at 16 to my
Okay.
eldest son.
Yeah, parenting at a young
Yeah.
age is stressful. I get it. Okay. So today, in today's world, scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate it?
I think about an 8
Okay.
because I don't think I'm being honest with myself.
Okay. So what I am going to do is I am going to release the powers of anxiety because did you know stupid people cannot have anxiety? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Do you know why stupid people cannot have anxiety?
No,
I'll tell you. Because in order to have anxiety, you have to have so much creative genius that you can create a future-based story that scares the heck out of you to the point that every cell in your body actually believes it. And you know you created the story in the first place.
I love it.
So 99% of the time, that story is fiction. It is never going to come true. But the bad news is you are not Stephen King and you're not getting paid for those stories. So they serve absolutely no purpose.
I know this.
Okay. Everyone with anxiety knows it. And
Knows it.
I
Yeah,
know it because when I lived it and I tormented myself for years, that's exactly what it was. You know what I mean? That is the truth about what anxiety is. And so the problem is the creative genius that you have has been programmed to create nightmares instead of fairy tales. But it's just because your creative genius is misdirected. So, what I am going to do is I am going to take out the anxiety because it's based on the future. And the way that you trick it, because you can't stop the thought before it comes into your head, like it's just there, right?
mhm.
And then what happens if anyone has never had anxiety? I'll tell you what happens. If you hit a reflex right here, okay, heart reflex, oh, I'm going to be having a heart attack. That is, it's like if this is tender at 1, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. That's what it feels like to somebody with anxiety. It is like an instantaneous worst case scenario that is never going to happen. Okay. It's just that fast. Can you agree, Luella?
Yeah, yeah, oh, totally. Yeah,
It's like, wow, how did I get there that
right.
fast? It's and it does work that fast. So once the thing happens, like, okay, I've already had a heart attack. So that's the thought. Now, um, at that point, you have to be able to decode it because this is an old habit. It's not going to go away in 3 minutes. But when you get that thought, then what happens is you're like, okay, if I had a heart attack, what would I do? I would call 911 right now. That's what I would do. And there are doctors and everything's going to be fine. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
just take it to worst case scenario. You've got creative genius and you're going to play out what would happen in the worst case scenario. in my life, I had a lot of people diagnosed with cancer. So my anxiety story always led to like cancer, always, always, always. And so eventually I got to the point where it was like, okay, so if I got cancer, so what? It's not the end of me. You know what I mean? There was like a million things I could do. Well, then it lost its power because I knew that it would be an inconvenience, but it wouldn't be the end of my story. You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? And
Mm,
so that's how you can kind of work with anxiety. And so that old friend can be divorced, right?
right. Mm,
So what I'm going to do is I am going to release the um, power of your mind to create nightmare stories, and I am going to replace it with the ability to use your creative genius to create fairy tales, absolute amazing stories that you are thrilled to be a part of.
love
Sound good?
it. Yes.
All right. Now, one more time. Where's that reflex at?
Yes, it's lesser than 3,
Yeah.
but it's still like inkling there. I
Yeah.
should have taken a picture of the redness before we started and after because it's so much less.
Hindsight's 2020. I know. It's good. And so what happens is there's just a few more emotions in there. That's all that there is.
Thank you so much for this.
Oh, of course. It's good. Um, I am going to explain how I did it. I will show it to you. How do you find the emotion, Nancy? I have charts and it's you have to know how to use the charts in order to be able to do it. Okay. I want to show you a video. We just have to wait one more minute. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so scale of 1 to 10, where is that reflex right now?
It's still hovering between, I would say, 2 to 3,
Okay,
but it's way less.
okay. So that will be anger. And that anger, um, hold on. It's at age 62. Do you remember being angry at 62? When I say it, is there a specific moment that pops into mind?
No, sorry, I don't.
Okay. And so the anxiety before it, you said it was at an 8. Where is it at right now?
Oh, yeah, that is way less. Like, yeah, it's really dropped.
Okay. Can you put a number on it?
Say 5.
Good job. Okay. So the anger, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release it. But again, you can't have anger unless you have heartache first. So I'm going to release the heartache first, and then I'm going to release the anger, and I'm going to replace it with unconditional love and the ability to focus on things that create pure joy. Okay. And where
All
is it
right.
at now?
It's actually moving now.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome. That's wonderful.
Is
Okay.
it?
It
Okay.
is. It is because it's been lodged in one spot for a long time. And when it moves, it does move, but it's when a reflex moves like that, you know for sure it's an emotion. It's not a physical thing. That's why I say it's good.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Now we're going to see if this is going to. Okay, so today the question I'm asking is, what is it like to have an emotional reflexology session? There is a client here that has experienced emotional reflexology. So remembering back, and I know it's a long time, but remembering back to when you had your very first emotional reflexology session, do you remember what you were hoping to feel when you had that first session? Like, do you remember the stress and what you were hoping to feel?
I was looking for relief from my pain.
Right.
What I was most surprised about was how you were linking past traumas, which contributed to my pain.
Right. Good job. And so in the very first session, when I found a cranky reflex, is what I call them,
Yes.
and it was tender, I would go in, I would find the emotion tied to the memory.
Yes.
And when it released, can you explain what it feels like when it lets go on a physical side?
Usually there was a decrease in pain, but not the whole amount. It would take a couple of releases in order to get down to a zero. Sometimes not completely to a zero, but there was always pain relief.
Excellent. And now, when you think about the emotions that were tied to that reflex, when they let go, how does that help you emotionally after the session?
It's made me a lot more calmer than I used to be, and I'm able to cope with high stresses without my body reacting as badly.
Perfect. And when it comes to your perceptions of things, like your attachment to those emotions that were trapped and now released, how does it feel on mental or emotional attachment to those challenges? What happens to those?
Well, I'm very proud that I react differently now than what I used to, in a much more calmer state. And I'm just very proud of myself that I can accomplish this with Kalinda's help. And it's just very freeing knowing that I don't have to react emotionally and freak out that on a stressful situation. It's much more on a calmer level.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for sharing with us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Great. Okay, so I am going to do a demo on what it looks like in an emotional reflexology session. So it is only for certified foot reflexology therapists. You have to know foot reflexology in order to be able to take this advanced training. But what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for a tender reflex. Now, I'm just going to go and skip through, and so that I can find a tender reflex, you would be doing a full reflexology session on the client, but we're looking specifically for cranky, tender reflexes in the foot. So I don't feel anything really that I can work with in here. Oh, right there. I found it. Okay, so in here, if I had to rate this scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate it? 4. Okay, so I'm holding it. Is it releasing or is it down to a 0? No. Okay, so a scale of 1 to 10?
For 1.
Okay, and it's still holding?
No, it's down to 0 now.
Okay, so when you detect a reflex and it's tender, but it releases, that is not an emotional reflex. So now I'm going to work on the back of this toe because I suspect scale of 1 to 10.
7.
Right there is a 7?
Yeah.
Okay, so the client said that this reflex on the back of the toe is actually a 7. And is it holding?
No, it's a 5.
Okay, and where's it at right now?
4.
Okay, so this reflex is holding at a 4. It is an emotional reflex. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to use my chart here to figure out what emotion could be trapped in this reflex. And I don't think it's on that chart. Okay, so in this reflex, the emotion that I'm detecting is vulnerability. So scale of 1 to 10 in your world today, where do you feel vulnerability is at? Scale of 1 to 10?
A 4.
A 4. Now, I want to find out when this all started. So I know the age of the client, but I am going to do you remember feeling vulnerable at age 13?
Oh, yes.
Scale of 1 to 10, where would it be at?
A 10.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am releasing all of the vulnerability from back then, as well as today. And I am replacing it with the ability to feel strong and confident and relieved. Okay. So now when I press this reflex, scale of 1 to 10, where is it at?
1.
1. Okay. So now it's dropped down to a 1, but that just means that something else could be attached to it. And what is it? Okay. So using the charts, I'm using the charts in order to try to figure out what this is. And the next thing is feeling secluded. So the seclusion is coming from at age 29. Do you remember feeling secluded at age 29?
Yes.
Scale of 1 to 10, how bad was it back then?
8.
Okay, and where is it at today? Feeling secluded, like you are left alone.
But I don't care.
Yeah, okay, but the secluded part of it, scale of 1 to 10?
1.
1, okay. So I'm releasing the attachment, or I'm releasing the seclusion from 29, as well as current. And I'm replacing it with the joy of your own company and the freedom that comes from being able to make your own choices, being independent, and being proud of yourself. Okay. And scale of 1 to 10, where's that at now?
0.
Good. And so now this reflex, when I press it, is at 0 and it no longer bothers the client. And that is what emotional reflexology looks like. And I should put in a disclaimer that when a reflex is released, the emotional attachment to that specific memory cannot return because you do not have Marty McFly's time machine from Back to the Future to go back in time to create the same reaction that you had in the first place. So it's gone. And if it does come back, it would be because of a habit that has been created where that emotion has been used in multiple trapped memories. And then you just have to go searching to release that same emotion from a different time period. Hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Good. That will complete the introduction to emotional reflexology for today. Ruth, how are you able to work out when the trauma occurred? It's I use a chart to be able to detect the age and the motion, and it's feedback from the client is what it is. So when I teach emotional reflexology, what I've done is I only teach 10 students at a time. I do teach online or in person. And then what happens is you learn over a 1 year course how you do that. So I did open up all of the classes for 2026. There are, for the webinar over the next 2 days, there are a lot of people that have asked for the replay, and there are 300, I think, that I have to send all the information to. So and that doesn't include the people that just register for it because they register for it, right? So in the next year, I will only teach 110 emotional reflexology therapists over 11 classes. Cost to class, the that's really hard for me to say. I'm Canadian, and so it is 1,575 Canadian dollars. But if you're in the UK, I think the exchange rate on that, I think, is like 66% off. If you're in Australia, it's probably going to be pretty close to 1,575 or $1,600. I don't know. You have to check your exchange rate to see how much $1,575 is in your time zone. I have no idea. How do you know the several types of emotions in the specific reflex? Is this just the chart again? Oh, it's because it doesn't release. So a lot of times, when people are doing reflexology, right? They rate themselves on how they do the method, or if a reflex releases. Well, in my experience, if a reflex holds on longer than 15 seconds, it is an emotional reflex. Now, if the correct emotional reflex is detected, it releases. If it's not detected, it doesn't release. Like, the client is the one that gives you feedback on whether it is right or whether it is wrong. I can't just be like, oh, like Louise Hay, for example, did a great book. I love her book on how emotions are trapped in the body. Is it The Body Keeps Score? I can't remember. There's so many different books. But for example, Louise Hay always said that grief was trapped in the lungs. Well, that's fantastic. But some people, they trap grief in their heart, or it can be in their intestines, or absolutely anywhere. So it depends on each unique person how they process emotion, and you have to be able to decode it. There isn't a button to press for grief. There isn't a reflex to press for heartache. Like, they're just it because people process it in different parts of their body, and you have to be able to decode it in order for the body to release it. No, it's not a metaphysical technique. It's reflexology, but it brings in, how long do you wait to see if the reflex releases? 15 seconds. It it is it's got metaphysical elements, but it is reflexology. It's not. Okay, good. Excellent. I think I made it through all the questions. Did anybody else have another question? As a practitioner, do you need to be intuitive, or does the charts do it for you? So the way that I designed it is the charts will guide you through it. So right in here, these are all the emotional reflexology students. And when people get certified, or when I update training, it all goes in here too, and you can ask questions absolutely anytime. That's a emotional reflexology sequence sheet so that you got it. That's kind of how I work it. Make sense? Like I said, I'm in Regina, Saskatchewan. I do teach live, but I also teach online, and so that people have access to it, because ever since COVID, schedules are really hard to work around. Like, there were probably 100 people that wanted to attend this, and they couldn't because of schedule conflicts, right? So when you're trying to schedule out a whole weekend, it makes it rough for a whole bunch of people. Scheduling conflicts are not for the faint of heart. Anyone else have any questions for me before I bounce off? Date is at 8 hours long per class. Yeah. So what would happen is if you wanted to attend live, it is 8 hours and I teach from 9 till 5. There's a recording inside the portal. So if it gets too late, you can watch it. You can watch it after the fact, and then you can do the recording. The Facebook link is only for certified reflexology students. Nobody can get in there unless you're wanting my regular Facebook group. You just have to type in Kalinda Trifo and it'll pop up. How often do you meet on Zoom for class remotely, or 1 hour or more for each class? So on Zoom, when I teach the actual certification, it's full day Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5. But what I do is there's a mandatory review. So it's a 3-hour mandatory review where you work on someone and I make sure that you're doing the method correctly. And you can ask questions for that. So when I set a mandatory review, you need to come to at least one. But if you're not comfortable with it, you can register for more than one mandatory review throughout the training course so that you are 100% confident that you're doing it right. And I'm 100% confident in handing you the certificate. The course is recognized by the Reflexology Association of Canada as well. So Nancy, the training is over 1 weekend is where you get like all the training, and then you have to do 50 practical sessions. The mandatory reviews are available usually once every 2 months. The question is, how often do you meet? Anybody else have any other questions for me? All right. Well, thanks so much for attending. It's been a pleasure, and you have a great rest of your day. Take good care.